Welcome back to IPA, where we keep it real and raw. I'm with another special guest. I'll allow him to introduce himself.
Go by Ken6Teen. It's Ken6Teen from South Bend, Indiana. It's the word, man.
Hey, shit. Who is Ken6Teen, man? Let us in. Let us know.
Ken6Teen, born and raised here in South Bend, Indiana. Artist, producer, shit, creative. I got make clothes, beats, like shit, whatever somebody need. I'm pretty sure I could do it or point you in the right direction.
One-stop shop.
Most definitely. Most definitely.
Damn. So, like, what was the rap scene like when you were coming up through South Bend, as opposed to like how it is now? Has it grown?
Man, that shit was garbage.
Yeah.
That shit was garbage, bro. Like, it's funny, like, that I even rap now, I'm not gonna lie, because I used to be, like, when I was in high school, like, middle school, we had, like, people that was rapping and stuff, but, like, I thought they was all corny, except, I don't lie, we had an artist named, he's still an artist, Haven.
Mm-hmm.
Haven was hard, he had a lot of buzz around here, I was really tapping into him, and then one of the only other people I was really fucking with back then from here, his name was, Amp. And he was like doing shows and shit.
Yeah.
And I thought like that was hard. But you know, everybody else was kind of just SoundCloud, they got the little links and shit. Which ain't nothing wrong. I'm not like anti-SoundCloud or nothing. But my mindset then in high school, I was not fucking with that shit. Like I thought anybody that was rapping was down there corny. And now I'm out here on the same shit. It's crazy.
I mean, shit, but it's hard to like, if you don't have somebody around that could like coach you into how to get motion actually going or how to generate that motion into like a dollar sign even, this shit is really hard to like be able to do by yourself, bro.
Especially in a small market like it is here, you know, like, and especially with nobody having done it. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, we don't got no artists that done popped and like, oh, I'm from South. We don't got that here.
Yeah. So
my mindset then of us not having, I'm like, bro, what make you think you finna pop? I used to talk to artists like, what make you think you gonna pop? Ain't nobody from here. What you gonna do different?
Yeah.
But now it's like, it's kind of I don't want to call it a disadvantage, because in a way, like I'm doing music now, and like I done kind of made a decent little name for myself around here. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it's like I'm just a big fish in a little pond. So like I'm making noise, but like, you know, how much noise am I really making compared to these other pond over here where more big, you put me over there, then what can I really do?
Facts. And I mean, like, I think it does get to the points where you want to put the pressure on yourself to do that. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of people who are satisfied with only getting recognition from the homies and shit, which ain't nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? Like if you just rapping on some
I should have got a brown
shit,
paper bag.
Oh God!
I should get on that mode, but I'm listening.
But nah. If you just rapping just for fun and shit, then you know what I'm saying. More power to you. But at the same time, like I think a lot of people get into this shit to try to make some motion, like some real motion happen.
Yeah, most definitely. Rapping is fun. You know what I'm saying? Like being in the studio, doing shows and shit. It is fun, but at the same time, like it's a business behind this too. Like it's a music business, and to be honest, the business is way more important than the music. And like that's something I've been learning probably over this past year and a half. It's like the music can be as good as whatever, but if ain't nobody hearing it, like, you know, what do it really matter?
Yeah.
So your market and everything got to be just as good as the music, if not better.
So tell me about the Kenville show, because, you know, I went to that shit. I had posted that shit on TikTok. Yeah. Like, bro, that shit, you definitely turned that bitch up, bro. You had motherfuckers going crazy.
Thanks. Appreciate you for popping out to that, too.
Hell yeah, nigga.
Appreciate you for popping out. But it all started really last year when I dropped the tape. My homie Meat, shout out Heat Check. He the one who kind of like bought the idea, the concept of like, let's do this show. Let's make it like a whole thing. So we had like this little kick out, and we did a cookout, did a little photo shoot, and kind of like promoted like we finna do this Kenville show, like welcome to Kenville. And, you know, the name of the tape was Kenville, just all kind of play within it. So
yeah.
So we had a show here, and like it turned out way better than we expected. We had like 150 people.
Like
that was the first one we did here, and it was rocking. Everybody
it was real love. It was real love and real support. And that was the thing that kind of like caught my eyes. I was like, damn, like you had the right motherfuckers on the like on the list of who was performing and shit. Yeah. And everybody, it was like everybody who performed people were receptive to the music. If they didn't know the songs, they were still bouncing to it. But if they did know the songs, they were singing to it.
That's what I like. That's what I like about doing like these kind of smaller, kind of more intimate shows, where it's not like a big like artist kind of headlining or something. Because you know, let's say we had G Herbo there or some shit like that. You know, most people coming to hear G Herbo, they're not trying to hear what not to say our music not good, but it's like that's who they paid to come see, so they could almost care less. And I don't like putting people in those situations like that, nor do I really like being in them for real. So when you create like a setting like that, it's you're gonna have people that's way more receptive to what's going on, understanding that it's like we newer artists, we on the come up, the music is good, but you might not know it yet. So they listening with a listening ear for real.
Yeah.
So like, and it's cool to do stuff like that because even after the show, kind of like getting to interact with people that was there that I don't know. That's when I met you for the first time.
Oh God.
It's like something positive always comes from doing those shows. So I'm really trying to do them as often as possible.
Yeah, and I mean, like, it's like you said, like showing face is like so valuable in this shit, bro, because that shit leaves an impression on the people who are like potential listeners. You know what I'm saying? And it's like I think a lot of the times people miss, especially with artists, like they miss the value of doing the groundwork. You know what I'm saying? Like doing like the grassroots, like coming up and like genuinely knowing motherfuckers and motherfuckers genuinely knowing you.
Yeah,
you know.
I think that's a positive to what I'm trying to do. Like that's kind of always been my thing. Like some people used to kind of like be on my ass and shit on me about social media. Like I've been a little bit more active lately, but I'm not the most active on social media. And some people could kind of see that as a disadvantage, but at the same time, it's like I be showing faces that I be like, you can catch me places. Like I'm not just not on social media and just ducked off here in the studio. Like I be outside. You know, there ain't no telling where you can catch me at. Like whether it's somewhere around here, Chicago, Texas. Like I be getting around. So that part of it is so I don't want to say is underestimated now, but like with social media, how you can kind of pop off so quick on social media. But I'm a firm believer in popping off that quick ain't always that good. I'd rather be the person that was moving around for a few years, just building up this buzz, and then finally pop off. And then it's like you have people that be like, man, y'all just now getting. I've been knowing him for 3 years when he did the show in Chicago, or when he did this, like creating that small kind of like cult fan base. Like that's always been the way I wanted my brand to be like. So,
and that's like the true moniker, like underground. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's like when I was making music, I always wanted to have like an underground presence because I understood the value of people genuinely fucking with you. Like, and even if it is through socials, you know what I'm saying? Like they may have seen you one time at a show. They may have just bought some merch from you and it was like good quality shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, but that like leaving that impression on people is so valuable because those are the same people that are going to buy the tickets and come out and support
every time. So that's why you always want to make sure when you do show face, whoever that's coming, if they coming for you or just happen to meet you, that they leaving with something, whether it is something tangible like some merch or a sticker even, or just a overall solid experience. And I'm either gonna give out one of the two. Like that's one of the reasons I kind of got into doing clothes is to like have merch, to have something to give to people or sell for cheap and have something that's more of a better quality. That's for people that want to pay for that. But yeah, you gotta be able to leave there with something, and that's gonna people gonna remember that forever. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you keep growing and going.
Yeah.
10 years down the line, it be people. I had sold them great hoodies at that Chicago show. And I'm pretty sure down the line, it's going to be somebody that's going to be like, remember this? Like, I'm like, yeah, you was at that. You got that. That means you was there.
Exactly.
So it's slow motion, but, you know, I know I'm in kind of like the cocoon stage. You know
I mean, and it's not like, this is the process. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of people don't understand that it has to start somewhere. You know, and a lot of niggas don't have the resource. Even if you have the resources to be able to promote your shit, get the equipment to actually do the shit at home, like have the skill to even be able to really do the shit for real, it still takes time in order for the shit to really be noticed and to grow into what you see it being.
Right.
But talk about like, cause I remember at the show 3VM, he was talking like y'all, like he was basically talking about how y'all had developed your relationship, and he saw you kind of go from producer Ken to rapper Ken. You know what I'm saying? So like, how important has his presence been in your come up?
He was just here. He literally was just here last night. Like we were just in the studio last night. His presence around me and just his influence on me has been substantial because before I was even making music, before I knew he was making music, I've been knowing him since I was like 12 for real. And he was just, I just always looked up to him. He was older. He was always just on some fresh shit and all of that. So I'm like, oh yeah, I fuck with dog. You get the girls and shit like that. Like, no shit, I'm fucking with him. And then, so I'm just rocking with him on that tip. And then I found out that he made music. So I started diving into that. And I'm like, he's like it would take somebody to just kind of know and be around because he's been doing it for a decent little minute. But he was hard back then, hard as fuck back then. So I'm super tapped into him. I'm just fucking with him. And then later on down the line, I started making beats when I went to college. I had started making beats. And so, you know, I was sending to him. He either fuck with it or not fuck with it, but he wasn't rapping on none of them. But then I eventually just got better and better. And then he started kind of rapping on some of the beats. And then once we got past that, when I started rapping, I would be sending him my songs. And it was decent, but I was consistent. I'm steady getting better. Before I ever dropped a song, I'm just making them, sending them to him. Then I made one of the songs. I named it On My Way. And he called me immediately, like, bro, like, this shit is cold. Like, that's when he told me, you gotta start taking this shit, like, for real. And he ended up dropping that on his album, like as an interlude on his album. And that did, like, major for me because people really, that was before I even dropped the song. So people was tapping into that. I didn't even have no music out. They like, who the fuck, what is this shit? And I just started going from there.
Just gave you a nice little ooh.
He really, the craziest ooh. The craziest ooh.
Hey, D-Wade and Brian shit.
Man, no cap.
Damn, man. So, like, that being said, like, how do you feel your progression was from Ken to Ken versus Kenville? You know, like, how have you grown as an artist, and like, where's your mind at, like, in terms of when you get in the lab now? Because I know back then, just speaking from someone who used to be on the mic, like, I didn't even get to the point to where I felt comfortable rapping on the mic. I still, you know, heart beating and shit, you know what I'm saying? But I know now you've kind of come into your own and you're starting to figure out what your sound is and shit. So talk about that shit.
With Ken v. Kim, it was almost like I don't want to say like an experiment, but it was just more so like a fun thing, man. Like during that time, I was with Almighty Foe a lot. Like me and Foe was together daily at that time.
That nigga Foe be on the move too, shit.
Yeah, and he's one of the artists in terms of like influence on me that was a huge influence on me at the time. I'm not gonna lie, because me and him would link every day, but at the time I was still writing music. Like, so I'd make a beat, write a song, and then me and him started linking up, and he don't write shit.
Yeah.
So like I couldn't be the one in the studio, like he freestyling, and it's my turn to go. I'm like, hold on, bro, let me. So I had to learn how to just figure it out at the mic, and like since then I have not wrote a song since then. So he changed the way I make music. Period. But that was kind of like pretty much the start of that, because on like Ken v. Ken, I was kind of like getting comfortable with that, and even engineering my own music. I was getting comfortable and getting in that bag. And then you take it to Kenville, it's just way more, you can hear it in like my voice, how comfortable I am. You can hear it in like the sound quality, with how everything sound, like everything kind of went up a notch. The beats went up, the production, like I feel like overall it was just a step above, like in the right direction from Ken v. Ken to Kenville. Like it was just, to me, it was just overall, you could kind of hear it, see it. It was overall growth. Yeah. And I kind of like dug deeper in terms of like insight to my life on there. Like it was just a little bit. It was a little bit. You got to see more of who I am on that tape. So you could definitely hear that, see it, and feel it. To be honest.
So is it tough for you to write, or is it tough for you to rap on beats that you've produced, or do you? It is. Because I've heard that from some like producer rappers that like, you know, like it's not really necessarily like that you don't like the beats, but it's like you're coming at it from a different mind space when you're creating in that fashion.
For me personally, it's like when you're making a beat, you making it, so you hearing it constantly, you hearing it on repeat, and it's like when it's time to, when you finally finish the beat, it's like, damn, I done heard this motherfucker 100 times. It's like I don't got nothing to say.
I feel you.
When I hear a beat, like if we was to start making a song right now, I hear a beat, whatever my first idea is, I'm running with it. Like I don't try to. Sometimes I do have a concept beforehand, or I know what I want to talk about. But most of the time, I build off of my first thought.
Yeah.
So whether I want it to be a conceptual song, if I want it to be where I'm just kind of punching, getting my bars off, work some melodic shit, it just all go off that first initial thing. And I get that as soon as I hear the beat. So if I listen to a beat and I don't hear nothing immediately, I don't even want to, like, it's on to the next beat. But so for me, when I'm rapping on my beats, it could be kind of difficult sometimes because, like I said, I'm just sitting there listening to this shit for so long. But I kind of done got, what I do is I just kind of remember what I was saying. Like as I'm making a beat, I be in that mode, and I'm just like, I start freestyling a little bit. Like, oh yeah, let me say that, let me do a voice memo so I don't forget.
Yeah.
And then when I'm finished with it, I just start punching.
I feel it.
A lot of times I don't even finish the beat. Like I have a simple little loop, and I'm gonna rap on that, and then once I make the song, I structure the beat however I want it to be laid out. So that's really what my process is like.
Yeah. So what have been some of like the hardest lessons you've had to learn throughout this shit? Because I mean, you've been in the music space, like whether it's producing or rapping, like for a grip. So I know it's been a lot of like, just a lot of tough lessons. Because I know shit. I mean, I got scammed on some shit trying to get a cover art made for my shit. You know what I'm saying? On some goofy shit. So
no, I'm already knowing.
But like, what are some of the hard lessons that you've learned through this shit?
To me, just me, I can only speak from my personal experience. Like, I would say the hardest lesson I learned is I feel like early on I had too much input on what I had going on from outside sources that had to do with what I was doing. To whereas, like it was too many people talking in my ear about what I should be doing, how I should be doing it, and it was affecting my creative processes. It was affecting like me releasing shit. So, and that's not bad to have. I'm not saying that if you got like a strong team, but early on, I feel like it's really important, especially if you're trying to develop a sound, develop a voice in your own lane within the music. Excuse me. You should be doing whatever you feel like is best for the message or image that you're trying to convey or get across to people. So having too many people input on that could kind of skew what you got going on initially in the first place. And that's a lesson I kind of had to learn, and it all kind of worked out for the better because now it's like I'm not like a one-man show by any means, but I do a lot on my own. A lot of the things that is going on, what's happening, is just solely off me networking dolo, somebody hearing it, reaching out, and me building from there. But it take a little bit longer, but like at the end of the day, I'm learning how to do way more. So down the line, when I do where I can't help but have people around me giving input, I probably already know how to do that job in terms of like some marketing shit. Because I've been doing it myself for a minute. So I feel like that's the biggest lesson I had to learn.
Yeah, it is important to turn the noise off because at the end of the day, it's your process. You know what I'm saying? And it's like you got to you got to be selfish to some extent with this shit because it's your life.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like even if you look at it in terms of like making your own decisions as a man, like I could live with the consequences or the results because of the fact that I know that I did this for me.
Exactly.
You know?
And that's what a lot of it kind of boiled down to. Like I could fail on my own, like, and I have multiple times, but that's the only way you're gonna learn.
Facts.
But you got a lot of people in your ear or something, and then you fail. You can immediately start pointing fingers like, well, if you wouldn't have told me this, or if we would have did it this way, which I want to do in the first place, now you got a little bit of chaos and shit going on, where you do some shit dolo, it hit or miss or whatever, but regardless, you're gonna learn a lesson. You're gonna learn like, oh, okay, so maybe I probably shouldn't move this way next time. So next time when I'm finna drop, I'm finna have this in line beforehand or something like that. And it's all learning experience, trial and error until you build your own formula, get it right. And then at that point, it's just rinse and repeat.
How important do you think it is to be able to track yourself and to be able to like make music on your own time in your own space?
Man, for me, I really wouldn't have it no other way. To be honest, like I'm thankful that I know some people like you know got to pay for studio time and all this other stuff, but I'm thankful to just be able to wake up and record.
Get
You
right
know,
to
so
literally get right to it.
but and at the same time, that's a blessing and a curse because like the fact that I do just got it on demand, like easy access like that. It's like I could easily, like it's easy to just be kind of unproductive.
You can put that shit off.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I'll do it later. Or I'm sitting here at damn near just kind of bullshitting, like just recording, or I should be on my phone. To whereas if I'm paying for studio time, I'm in this bitch getting busy.
Yeah.
So sometimes I have to really like get in that mode, like, oh, okay, I'm finna go record. Like, granted, it's my house, but it's like I gotta treat it like I'm going somewhere else. Like my mind is in a totally different place. So like I shut my phone off, put my phone somewhere else, put it in my room or something, and just real life lock in for a period of time. So I like know I'm getting something done. Cause if not, especially with my phone in my hand, I'm really not gonna be productive for real.
Felt. I feel that shit. I feel that shit. I mean, how do you feel? Has your music? Do you think your music has affected like your romantic relationships?
Yeah,
Yeah.
most definitely.
Yeah.
Like 100%.
I know it. I know it had like a big. I mean, it had a big impact on me, and it's literally like a gift and a curse. Like that shit is like it's a great it's great to use your romance as a muse. You know what I'm saying in that sense, and be able to get creative inspiration through the romance. But at the same time, though, it's like, excuse me, you don't want to be so caught up in the oh damn, this shit got me burping. You don't want to be so caught up in the romance that it starts to take away from from the realness that you want to put in the music. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to have to filter yourself based on like the romance and the relationship type shit.
It can go a lot of different ways, man, cuz that specifically in general, that could definitely happen. And also you don't want to basically say too much or do like it's your real life situation, but it's a two-person thing. It's not just something that's happening to you. So you could be talking about a situation that you know you going through for sure, but at the same time it could be exploiting somebody else. So you just kind of gotta. It's a thin line to kind of walk on, but you know I feel like I've been walking on it well. But yeah, it definitely kind of affects my personal relationships that I be having with women.
And I mean, so that being said, like, what's been the most impactful shit that you like? What's been some of the best like experiences you've had throughout this shit? Because I mean, like, obviously, you know that show was fucking amazing. You know what I'm saying? It was a great vibe, whole night. Everybody had a good time. It didn't seem like there was shit. It didn't seem like if you wasn't jumping up and having a good time with that shit, then you just wasted your money. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
But like, what has been some of like the biggest like triumphs in this shit for you?
To be honest, it was probably the first Kenville show we had before the Chicago one, the one we did here, because really both of them, kind of like the whole Kenville experience that we trying to create, because we not finna stop with just those two. We finna keeping it going. But doing that was like a big thing because it's like it's something that's like mine. Like so us having to go through everything, we're reaching out through the venues, hearing no 1,000 times from different places, just trying to get the show put on, then pushing it, marketing it, and then trying to make sure we, you know, because you could do everything and then people will not show up. People don't show up to the building. So the first show that we did, that was like, you know, I've done shows to where it's like if somebody else show, I'm just showing up doing my thing. But when it's your own thing, it's a different kind of, it's just a whole different kind of beast. And that was probably the biggest thing, like doing that first show, finally getting on stage, and like just looking at the crowd and like seeing like, oh, these people really came out, like you know, I really like felt the support and felt the love. So that was probably, that really got to be the biggest thing right there.
I feel that.
That's probably the biggest thing.
So what can the fans expect from you going forward?
going forward, I've been kind of heavy on the tapes. Like when you hear me, it's usually through a tape or a feature, and I'm about to pull away from that and start focusing more on singles and videos. Cause I never really was on that kind of wave, like just dropping singles, dropping videos. It was always like a tape. I'm always working on the tape, so it could give the feeling that that I wasn't consistent, because like I'll be working on a tape, and when I'm doing that, I'm taking it serious. Like I want it to be like, I want that to be an experience of its own, and that's not something you could really just kind of create overnight. I mean, you can, but like I like to kind of take my time with it.
Yeah.
So like, it could get this feeling that I'm being inconsistent, when in reality I'm just taking my time.
As you should.
But moving forward, definitely just singles. Like I'm gonna be more consistent with just dropping singles and videos and pushing those and trying to get more people to listen to one song than trying to get a bunch of people to listen to this 13-track album.
Facts. Yeah,
you know, and not to say it don't be hard or something, because it is, but
sometimes it's a hard ask.
Yeah, it is. I'm a realist, man. Like I'm not saying my music better than the next or whatever, but just at the end of the day, people attention span is just not that long.
Facts.
So I'm sitting here, no matter how cool me and you is or whatever, you tell me like, oh, bro, listen to this for 40 minutes real quick. It's just like, goddamn, like, and it could be hard, and especially knowing how much, like I put I'm working on this shit for like a year, and then you put it out, and I've been lucky enough to have people actually fuck with it, but like I know what it's like to have people not, and it's like at the same time, motherfuckers just not really trying to sit down and listen, especially if you new. Like, but that one song, you got one little video or something, they gonna watch that no matter what. I feel like people gonna sit down, like, let me check that out, and you build their trust that way. So I got one song, oh okay, I fuck with it. I do two of them. Oh yeah, I remember that last one, so he came back harder on this one. So now they waiting on the third one. Yeah. So you just kind of build that kind of you build that momentum up like that, and then if they want to tape in, then you can kind of do that. But I'm finna almost look at it as I'm starting over. Like I feel like every time after I drop, it's like another reset, restart, new approach, new everything. So that's my approach now.
I feel it. Shit, I mean, you got anything else you want to tell people, man?
Be on the lookout for shows. Shows is another thing we got going on. Be on the lookout for the videos. And that's basically it, man.
Feel it, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate y'all.
Appreciate you for having me.
Of course. Y'all heard it here first.
Yo.
For this one. You can't just say it's still pretty, still thugging. You're gonna be like, still pretty, still thugging. Period. For the West.
They love you when you up, not when you